Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. There's Ian. Were you singing away to the music then? What noises were you making?
I'm just humming along. Yeah,
I love it. Very nice. How's your evening? Very pleasant?
Were you going to ask me to do some kind of rap song or something in a moment? We're starting on the melodies, are we?
Oh, wow.
I think everybody should be able to hum the theme tune of the program.
I like the thought of you doing a rap. I think that's good. For the panel, how demoralising is a loss like Manchester United had yesterday in the locker room?
They're just demoralising. Their middle name should be demoralising.
How long does a loss like
Manchester demoralising United.
How long does this loss hang over a club like this?
I don't know.
So what's it like? Going to training today must be miserable, yeah? No one's joking, no one's...
It's going to be bloody miserable going to that training ground every day.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You got a manager that buries his head in his knees. You got players that have been sidelined. Most of them are not there anymore. Can't win a game for toffee.
Yep.
Miserable.
They better be.
I tell you what, I can do miserable.
They have.
I'll cheer them up. I'll go and show them.
But what's it like? Is the start of the session miserable when it gets kind of happier?
No, it's just miserable.
It's just a miserable session. Get these sessions.
It's miserable up until maybe the day before your next game.
Really?
In this case, Burnley, when you have to just kind of switch your focus on what's at hand. But you understand how important that game becomes all of a sudden. You lose that, goodness me.
That must be a Shaka.
2 weeks.
You know, you've been in a few dressing rooms like me. Sometimes they can be great places.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't wait to get... We've had this discussion. Sometimes you can't wait to go in, not just to train, because that's your job, but you go in to have the banter with the boys and somebody's in a cup of tea, somebody's in the treatment room, you're just going round, having a laugh, you know, just really pulling each other's leg and a great atmosphere. We've all been in dressing rooms, though, when results have gone poorly and the pressure's on and the crowd are baying for blood and all that sort of stuff. And it's a horrible place to be because I tell you, one of the things I noticed that happens is people start playing the blame game.
Yeah.
I see.
Cliques start to form.
It's not me.
People start pointing fingers.
Right. Come in, you need...
Oh, yeah.
Come in,
easy.
You know, if I come in the morning, I'm like, hey, you're going to get off your line, you're going to catch a cross, you're going to come and punch it.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're going to put the ball in the back of the net or what? Come on, you know what I mean?
So to fix that must be very difficult because what you're talking about is organic, isn't it? Like a team coming together and indeed coming... Like you can't just go-karting and everything's going to get fixed.
No, not when it's as bad as this.
To that point, and while you're absolutely right, and granted, I don't know anybody in that Manchester United dressing room, but you don't... nobody impresses you as the kind to kind of... Well, be that aggressive in terms of pointing and saying things to people, but just in terms of putting things right. And you just wonder how many of those players are just gonna regress into their own little corner. You've got a bunch of new signings on the pitch, not made that much of a difference. You know, is Mbeumo, is Cunha, are they going to be pointing fingers and demanding more of each other? You don't get the impression that Bruno Fernandes does that. He's been there long enough, and we've had these questions about him for that time. And you look around to everybody else, and oddly, the only person who you feel has a confidence about them to do that is Andre Onana, who is in the worst possible form. So he can't do that. So now, and again, we've spoken about Amorim during the show, and I said how I think he missed an opportunity to be a leader in that in this team, and he dropped that ball as well.
If we were to pick a bonding session, what one would help them the most? Paintball?
Paintball.
I think paintball is the one.
Shooting it, yeah, but they can't shoot on goal.
I mean,
they'd have to shoot each other.
Oh, well,
they couldn't go paintball.
They're not paintballing with their feet. Come on,
you've got Onana dropping the gun everywhere.
They're not paintballing with their feet, Dad.
You'd have to...
Paintball is...
Amarin's hiding.
Because you can see them just rattling each other from 2 yards away.
You'd have to clear...
Come off your line.
Imagine. Has anybody seen the manager? He's on his tactics board.
He's hiding behind his tactics board.
It's going, well, if you run over behind
He's
that...
hiding behind his tactics board like
So
that.
it's either paintballing,
Right.
go-karting...
Yep. What else have you
done that? But
Paintballing
you must... After this event, you must all go out and get very drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
But they got battered already at Grimsby. Hey! Right then, here we go. If you were Rodrygo,
You always
Ian,
get battered at Grimsby.
great fish and chips.
Oh, fish is great.
If you were
Smells though.
If you were Rodrygo, would you force a move to get consistent playing time before the World Cup? With things so unsettled in Brazil, seems like he has a real shot to prove he should be featured next summer, Ian.
I think he's got a problem on his hand, isn't he? Because there are some question marks now about his mental approach. He's been in and out of the Real Madrid side for the last few months, back end of last season, beginning of this as well. So future looks a bit uncertain, and he was linked with a move to the Premier League, but it doesn't look like that's happening either. So he's got a bit of an uphill battle to kind of re-establish himself.
How frustrating, Craig, is it to play in a system that neither you nor your teammates understand? Have you been in that situation at all?
No, because players at that level should understand every system.
Right. You don't need a tactics board.
No, they understand the system. It's just this system's driving me absolutely nuts. You can play 3 at the back. Players can adapt to that. You can play as a wing back. You can play as a holding midfielder. And Ian touched on it in the show, and I've touched on this before. Bruno Fernandes is not a central midfielder. I know they're light in that position, but Bruno Fernandes does his best work further forward. But they've bought players further forward, and Mbemo, Cunha, Sesko. So you're buying players to play in a position where arguably your best player in the last year or two plays. And you're having to move him back because you've brought in these guff players like Ugarte, and Casemiro can't run anymore, and Scott McTominay's not there anymore, and all that sort of scenario. So you're playing players out of position. It's nothing to do with understanding systems. It's square pegs and round holes, and it's a lack of flexibility. Players all understand systems. I went back and played centre-half in the national team. Wasn't great at it, but it's not difficult to understand where you need to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, we can't be blaming that.
Did you want to add something, Ian?
Yeah, I was just thinking, if he changed the system, he could have a 3 behind Šeško of Mbemo on the right, Bruno Fernandes playing as a 10 further forward, Cunha to the left. I mean, what's wrong with that? But of course, he won't hear of anything but this 3-4-2-1, even if it means there are a lot of square pegs in round holes. I mean, another thing there that Fulham at the weekend, when they did, let's be fair, they started that game in electric form. Then they kind of lost belief and lost their way in the game. Could have even lost it in the end. But they had Amad Diallo playing as a right wing back. Now, that boy's got a lot of talent as a right winger. He's an old-fashioned right winger. He's not got any real defensive capability, and he got found out a couple of times, trying to do the defensive side of the job. So there's another square peg in a round hole, and he's got to strip it down and start again.
Craig, what annoyed you the most during your playing days?
Referees.
Yeah. Everybody says the same, don't they? Everyone hates referees.
And I got a lot of respect for them now.
Yeah.
A lot, because it's tough, but you don't see... When you're a player, you don't see it. And I had a good relationship with a lot of them in England and in Scotland. In fact, a lot of them were great characters, and you could have some fun during the game. But unfortunately, some were not. Some were very... like a school headmaster.
Right.
Their way or the highway. Couldn't talk to them.
Like a principal.
Like a school principal over here. You couldn't talk to them. They were just right, and you couldn't even approach them. It was like, whereas there was some, you could go up and you could use a profanity to them, and you could have a bit of a laugh, and they were okay. They'd give you something back. But the ones that didn't, the ones that didn't, and you couldn't talk to them, always tended to be the worst ones for me. And that's where I used to get frustrated. So I would say officials annoyed me the most. And I got a lot of bookings for dissent, shouting at referees and stuff.
Now you get caught on ref cam.
Surely not.
Ref cam, yeah.
You love ref cam.
Oh, doesn't love ref. Imagine Craig's toothless grin. Games would have to come with like an R rating.
Oh, please, no.
Ref cam would have been brilliant when my old... Ref cam would have been... You know this story. Ref cam would have been brilliant when my old teammate at Chelsea, Frank Sinclair, as a youngster went on loan to West Bromwich Albion. And it was a rainy day, and he's a youngster, and he's got quite a lot to say for himself, Frank. And a decision goes against him, and he sprints straight at the referee out here at full speed. The referee stands his ground. Frank tries to stop, slips, goes back the way, comes forward and headbutts the referee. Because his footing, you know, when you slip and then you try and correct it, he went the other way, butted the ref, the ref went down. And our coach came in on the Monday and said, "What about your mate, to all the boys? What about your mate at West Brom? He's only got in head-butted the referee." Can you imagine that on ref cam?
Good on ref cam, wouldn't it?
Oh, what a start to
Was it Di Canio? Was Di Canio the shove on the...
Paul
That was Di Canio.
It's very
when he was at
took a
Sheffield
long
Wednesday.
time to follow ref
you.
cam as
You know
well.
the name? The referee's
Never
name?
gave
No.
a bad.
Paul Alcock.
There we go.
Give me a pat on the
Yes.
back. Why were you laughing
Well
at me during the show
remembered,
today?
I can't remember what it was. It was something...
Someone Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Alexander-Arnold. You're being really serious after having a real go at the draw. All of a sudden, you like switch to switch. It's like, well, yes, Sparty's already been dropped.
Well, I'd all this pent-up energy in me after sitting through all that Hamburg stuff. Which, by the way,
What?
your insincerity was off the charts.
Hamburg is a brilliant city, by the way.
It's a brilliant city.
It is a fantastic
Anyway, it's on me on
city.
Netflix. Yeah,
It's
big
awesome.
Game. Big game.
Ian, have you ever called a match where a young Have you ever called a match where a young phenom made his debut as a professional?
Young phenom.
Well, the only one that springs to mind now you say that is I used to cover something for my sins called the Victory Shield.
Oh.
So it's England against Wales at Wrexham, and I'm wandering on the pitch beforehand, and all the Welsh kids are coming up to me, giving me their name and number, and one of them says, "Make a note of my name." He goes, "I'll be number 9. He said, "One day I'll play in the World Cup and I'll be playing in the Premier League as well." He was 14 at the time, pockmarked little lad. I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Craig Bellamy."
Oh.
So he was terrible. He was terrible in the game, hardly got a kick. About 3 years later, I picked up my paper, and the headline is, "Wonder Boy Bellamy scores 2 on his debut for Norwich." I was like, so...
And is he Welsh? He's Welsh. He's the manager of Wales now, isn't he?
Well, he knew he wouldn't play in the World Cup because he's Welsh.
Oh, well, there we are.
I played in that Victory Shield, Ian.
Oh, there we go.
Not that particular one.
Did you?
I played in the England. Do you remember when it used to be on TV? Brian Moore and Kevin Keegan were doing the commentary. We played England at Wembley. I think it was 1985. There was 100,000 there. And this is how it changes for kids. Andy Cole, who went on to have a great career, was on the bench for England.
Yeah.
And you'll appreciate this. One of their best players at the time, sorry folks, but Andy Offord was centre half as a Portsmouth fan.
1985.
I think it was 85. And who was the left back who played for Aston Villa, the little fella? Alan Wright.
Right.
Alan Wright, yeah.
Yeah.
Only 5'4", wasn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
I like him.
And there wasn't many people made it out of those teams.
Oh, all right, but you did. Well done.
Only Craig Bellamy.
Knows the name of a referee.
But that's how little
The Victory Shield.
That's how little football was on the TV in those days. That was on ITV, terrestrial in England.
Shaka, from what you've seen...
Talking.
From what you've seen in the opening game, Shaka, which looks more wide open in the Premier League, the top 4 race or the relegation battle?
Ooh. Right now, that's a good question, Dan.
What happens with power rankings?
So
That's another question.
top 4 or title? Top 4.
Top 4 or
Top 4
relegation?
race or
Yeah,
relegation.
it's not, so it's top 4, not who's going to win the title.
It's a race for the top 4.
The top 4's more open because I think
yeah.
you could take the relegation battle down to probably 5 teams.
Yeah.
Top 4 you could take up to maybe 6 or 7.
Okay, well, Shaka...
And relegation,
asked the question.
West
Well, he
Ham
wasn't answering
West Ham
that.
is 25.
He was-
I wasn't sure.
I mean,
West Ham are down there, aren't they?
I thought you were supposed to be doing power rankings today. What happened to that?
No, it's too early.
It's too early.
I don't have enough data.
How are we going to stretch that out for?
No, I don't have enough data, Dan, for the algorithm to work.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
well, when we come in here, all we heard was he's not doing it.
Okay, we've talked about Manchester United a lot, so we'll be quick here, Ian. While Manchester United buying players from the Premier League, would it not have been wise if they had picked a coach with the same experience too? Who would you have, Ian, out of everyone in charge of United?
Oh, crikey, that's a big question to just throw with a quick answer.
Yes.
Iraola. If they were going to change,
Perfect.
I'd go for that at Bournemouth.
There we are.
That was easy.
Yeah, excellent. That's it. That brings us to the end of today's show.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
What do you mean?
You said excellent.
Not excellent that it's finished. ESPN FC returns tomorrow as we'll be reflecting on Hamburg against St. Pauli.
Oh,
a game
boy.
you can see live on ESPN Plus.
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
Oh, shucks.